I don't know if I want to admit this on the internet in wholeheartedly, but fuck it, let it ride. When I was in high school, I would lie and I would go up to girls that I enjoyed being around, cause like I didn't know at the time I was anywhere near trans, but I really liked being near women, and I just assumed that I thought they were hot, which was partly true, but the other part is I wanted to be included. And the best way to do that is to just go up and be funny. And I had such a boring, uninteresting life. I lived on like a farm in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Where nothing ever happened. I never had the chance to like go out and do anything. Mm-hmm. So the saddest fucking thing, I would just like...
I think I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead. I would watch like YouTube all day because I would have to go to school. I would have to download YouTube videos, bring them home, watch them, and then I'd be like, okay, wow, this is the only thing I'm going to be allowed to consume for an entire month until I can download more.
Gosh.
So I guess I better enjoy it. So I watched a lot of like Game Grumps and shit like that, and I would go to school, and then people I knew who had no interest in Game Grumps, I would go up to, and I would just rattle off the fire red bits word for word. It was so... I would, like, change the names of people I used to know. I wasn't, like, a pathological liar, but I was kind of a pathological liar. It was really sad. I've stopped doing it eventually because I started having a life. But my fucking god, that might be the most pathetic thing I've ever done.
It's okay. Was it funny?
It worked. Everybody that I did that to loved me.
If it was funny, then it's fine.
It sure was. I don't think it's funny. It's funny to think about. I don't think it's funny when you put it in context.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, when I was younger, I wasn't even, like, really into stand-up comedy until, like, I accidentally listened to, like, the John Mulaney, like, Salt and Pepper Diner skit. Oh, through, like, it was, like, an Undertale animatic.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, ooh, wow. This is funny.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Were you guys like super into the animatic scene when you were kids?
Not really.
Not really.
I never really got into like a fandom because I just never really cared that much about media that was cool.
Unfortunately, I was an animatic kid, but that was like by proxy of being a musical theater kid.
Yeah, naturally.
Because if you like all the stereotypical musicals that were on Broadway at the time, or not even on Broadway, because I don't think Be More Chill got on Broadway until like 2018, 19. Mm-hmm. But just the stuff that was in the circle, it was all like Hamilton, Dear Evan Hansen, shit like that. Stuff that sometimes were objectively bad musicals. But it was like, I don't think Dear Evan Hansen is the writing masterpiece I thought when I was a kid.
Oh, of course not.
But the songs are pretty good. And the best part was always just watching what people would come up with in the animatic scene. Because I remember there was one in specific that everybody loved making animatics of. It was like Sincerely Me from Dear Evan Hansen, which is this scene where Evan and his friend Jared are trying to write, and this is what I mean by Evan Hansen is not a great story now.
Yeah.
Evan and his friend write a fake series of letters between him and a character who died recently, like he killed himself. Mm-hmm. His name's Connor. And they're faking a series of letters between the two of them because somebody thinks that they used to be friends. Yeah, it's pretty
scenario.
bad. But they're like at a desk writing these letters. And they're like bantering with each other while doing this really fucked up thing.
Gosh.
It's like, oh man, but Connor's sister's so hot. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We're deceiving a grieving parent that I used to be close to their child who had no friends and was riddled with drugs.
Gosh.
Dear Evan Hansen is like pseudo deep to the point that like It is perfect 16-year-old bait. But that specific
when I
animatic,
heard about it the most. That's certainly when I heard about it the most.
Yeah, sounds about right. The thing about that specific animatic was people would come up with cool ways to like, oh, well, we can like actually integrate Connor into this scene. Because I think the only thing they did with it on stage was that they had Connor there, like singing and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because Evan kind of like sees Connor as a ghost sometimes. And he's like doing the dance number with them. It's really fucking like upbeat and happy. And they're just like singing this happy, happy song while they're doing this deplorable, awful thing. But sometimes, like artists, since you are basically animating something, you can do cool stuff that you can't do on stage. Like Connor can live inside of the computer and he can jump out and drag people inside of it and like take him on a walk through his life.
Right.
That they never like even got to see because nobody fucking knew Connor. Nobody cares about him. He was like an actual shitheel fucking asshole.
Awesome.
But like usually there were a lot of people who took advantage of it in a really cool way. And then there were also a lot of people who didn't. And they would just like pepper out kind of mediocre drawings.
Yeah.
And then be like, no, I'm an animatic artist too. But there was a really big scene for that, and it kind of dipped out of the it kind of leaked out of the musical theater space, and now people just kind of do it for whatever.
I was actually just remembering, because we were talking about like discovering stuff through that kind of medium, and I just remember that there was an Outkast song that I like learned about the other day because of somebody like did a little animated music video on Instagram. It's like a little reel thing. And it was...
What is Outkast?
It's a band.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
They did Hey
The Hey Ya band.
Yeah.
This is the Josiah polluted brain where she thinks everything has to be a piece of musical theater for it to be music.
Yeah, no. It's just like, it's funny that that's how people find things. That's like another way that people find out about things now. It's just like, oh, I saw somebody lip syncing to this. And it sounded cool.
Yeah.
Let's look into it more.
That is cool, but it's like... It's really hard to tell whenever something is, like, worth watching. Because I guess on TikTok and, like, Instagram Reels, you don't really get a chance to even, like, see. Because when you go on YouTube, you can see, like, a thumbnail or something, and a title is like, oh, these both engage me. It feels like I'm going to watch this and it'll be worth my time. When you could scroll, like, through TikTok for hours... and be like, man, I saw one cool animatic about XYZ piece of media, and I wish I had used that 3 hours watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the common problem with, TikTok and Instagram. I didn't bother downloading Instagram, so it's like, oh, I'm
I really do like the
stoop to
idea
that level,
that
but...
YouTube is the big brother of TikTok. Where YouTube is like where you go for, because usually it jumps in this weird leapfrog of media consumption where it goes from, yes, TV and movies are the grandfather. And we actually are the most sophisticated version of any piece of media you've ever seen. Why would you waste your time with this YouTube schlock?
The family tree of video media.
Yeah, and then now YouTube has just, like, taken TV and movies place where it's like, oh, how could you ever indulge in short-form content? And it's like, okay, I wonder how many more leapfrogs this can go through before TikTok is, like, where TV and movies are right now.
The content just keeps getting shorter and shorter form.
It is, like, really fun to think about how that goes, because it's like, I don't know a lot of people who make TikToks and put a lot of effort in. I don't know a lot of people on YouTube who make content and put like an insane amount of effort into it. I think that it's like the reason that people think TV and movies are more like sophisticated and a better use of your time than YouTube is because people have money to do stuff with that. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's why we invest so much time in color grading, cinematography, lighting. They're trying to accomplish two different things.
Right.
Whereas like TV and movies are kind of there to like engross you in a story, or in the case of like something like Promare, which I don't, probably not a good idea to talk about right now. In the case of something like Promare, it's just like this is an orgy for my eyes, versus like YouTube, where like you could probably have more stuff like Promare, where it's like, yeah, this is just meant to like dump a cool little animation I made, and it's like I can't do anything else with it, so I guess it'll be nice here and people can like look at it, and it's like it has value in its own way. And then it's like, okay, well, what else can you do on YouTube? You can fucking drop tiny... I feel like YouTube is like a boat for information to flow down a long-ass river.
I mean...
It's like, okay, there's like a bunch of boats flying down the river, and they all have like a different amount of information on them, but I don't think any of them are going to do it in nearly the same way that TV or movies do. It's like, I don't know how many YouTubers are interested in that kind of thing. Maybe someone like Alpharad who like scripts their videos to like read like a movie, which is weird to think about.
I mean, people do short films and stuff on YouTube also, right?
Yeah, true, but I guess I would put that in like a different film circuit, but that might be an unfair way to look at it. I feel like TV and film has become like a small category that like YouTube has like a big conglomerate of categories, and TV and movies is now one of those categories.
I can see that. There's all kinds
of stuff, which is weird to think about.
I can go from watching a 6-hour video essay on environmentalism in the 21st century and how it ties into socialism, and then immediately after click on like some sort of stupid video game animation where Freddy Fazbear hits the gritty or something.
Freddy Fazbear does the thumb shaker.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's like, do you want to see me do it again, Gregory?
That's the beauty of it, though, is that there's so much crap on there that it's just like, you never know what you're going to find.
It's very weird to think about, because I'm like, okay, so if YouTube is just a broadening of the scope of what TV and movies can be, it's like TV and movies are trying to achieve like either one or two things, orgy for the eyes or like tell you a story. And it's like, maybe it's a mix of two sometimes, but those are kind of the two major things that TV and movies do. Entertain you, make you laugh, or like keep you engaged. Just keep your eyes locked on the screen because it's very pretty to look at.
Right.
Because they like had 100 people scientifically engineer it to make you want to look at it. And then YouTube has like the goal of like, since YouTube is just a platform for information, we can deliver that information however we want. And then TikTok is like, this is like the stand-up comedy of YouTube, maybe, where we give you little bite-sized jokes that don't belong anywhere else. But it's like how I don't know how you could do anything that you could do with TV, movies, or YouTube in TikTok other than like small updates about the news or something, which is weird.
It's like it's kind of funneling a certain kind of content into it that doesn't really work anywhere else.
It's like TikTok sometimes wants to be like a river of information, but they like shove it in front of your eyes so fast.
They say like for part 2.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I there's like this spinning ball of yarn lady on Instagram or like TikTok or wherever, where she just spins yarn and talks about her life, which is very cute and I love.
Mm-hmm.
It's like little stuff like that. People who just stand in the woods and talk about things they like or like want to do in their life.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's really fucking weird. Those are like the YouTube-y bits of content that TikTok kind of carried over. And then the rest of it is like just, I think maybe the best way to describe it is just like meme content, which has its place and it's awesome.
It's kind of just like junk food, a lot of it seems.
Yeah.
And
I guess that's why some people get all superiority, like hoity-toity about it.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of 30, 40-year-old YouTubers are like, I could never use TikTok.
I just don't appreciate clicking on a clip on Instagram only to like become sentient again 3 hours later.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. I guess I was
that.
gonna ask, what do you think would be the next version of this like weird leapfrog that media does, where YouTube hopped over TV and movies and TikTok hopped over YouTube?
I would hope that it wouldn't make things like even shorter form. It's hard to say though, because like where do you go from having like 20 seconds to be funny? We're just gonna be scrolling through photos.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's like the answer is definitely not to make it shorter.
Yeah.
That is the definitive one thing it will not be.
That's what the algorithms seem to push people more and more towards, though, unfortunately.
I think maybe TikTok will... This is very hard to imagine. I guess like anything is that doesn't exist yet.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like maybe vertical format will... Maybe there will just be a vertical long-form content platform. And it's like, I don't know what you get out of having a vertical video.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I feel like that it's crazy that there isn't like a vertical found footage film. I don't know why you'd want that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think film nerds would be able to tolerate that.
Yeah, it sounds awful. It's like, I think the only thing that I've seen that was like even kind of close to that was there was this lady who just took pictures of herself and like kind of pixelated it.
Mm-hmm.
And then took a bunch of pictures of her and like different, basically making sprites of herself.
Yeah.
So she would have like two talking sprites where she'd just go, and they would make like little horror shorts out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Which was like,
Ooh.
some of them genuinely scared me. And it's like, I don't know why you would choose to have the video laid out in this specific way, but it worked.
Yeah, it's weird that I guess it's strange that someone would put so much effort into something that's, meant to be on that platform, where you're just meant to keep scrolling past everything and not really paying attention.
Yeah, I guess when I think about like what you could do with TikTok that isn't just like short meme content, my immediate brain thought is, oh, you could find some way to tell a story with it. And it's like, okay, there are some people on like Twitter, which is weird, by the way. I don't know why this is a thing on Twitter sometimes, but there are like artists that will do like real-time written comics that are like, I don't remember what the one that I follow is, but there's one about like it's like a Lost parody sorta.
Oh yeah.
Where this entire plane is crashed on an island that seems like has no rhyme or reason. I don't think it's a necessarily well written story, I'll be honest. Because everything seems to make absolutely no sense and not in a, oh, I'm foreshadowing something way.
Yeah.
But everything is strung together in this very like, oh, if you can talk to the characters, because every character has a like Twitter profile.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
And well, like the three major important characters do.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, you don't really get anything out of talking to them. They'll maybe foreshadow some like future story stuff or talk to you about their situation in character, which is pretty cool. And I think that if TikTok were to be like let's say it's not TikTok, let's say it's like a new fucking weird long form vertical platform, which would probably also just be posted to YouTube Shorts or whatever.
Yeah, just go through the cycle, put on all the other apps.
Yeah, they just break it up and they'd be like, here you go. It's like, since the phone is the thing we carry in our pocket every day, it makes sense that you would some kind of media, it doesn't mean all of it, but some of them you would try and use all of the screen real estate for. And right. You don't usually hold your phone in a like horizontal position unless you're sitting down to watch a movie.
Yeah.
So I guess if you did it right, you could have a platform that's specifically made for like writing interesting stories filmed very personably. Like I don't know properly how to explain the idea I'm concocting, because it's like It's a mix between a found footage movie and like that kind of Twitter interaction that I was talking about. I have no idea how they would achieve it. I have no idea why you would want to do that way.
Yeah.
Because like there's some other stuff on YouTube too that's like I think there was one where it's like mostly ARG stuff. Where it's like this woman is like in purgatory and can only post like the only meaning she has in life is to wander through purgatory and post videos, which is weird. But
Vanish to the influencer realm.
Yeah, it's really you made bad content.
Wait, I think I've seen that one.
You have?
What's it called?
I have no fucking clue. I saw it on Game Theory like once, like years ago.
Yo.
Or Film
Game
Theory.
Theory.
But it's like it didn't really do anything with that concept. It kind of just ran with yes, you get to watch her overcome her heroin addiction. Isn't that interesting? It's like, yeah, it is, but like, come on. It's like I'll stop talking about it because I could go on about this forever.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like when people try to give like a more of an interactive aspect to like you said, an ARG or something. That kind of stuff is neat.
It sure is weird to think about.
I see plenty of like artists on Instagram and stuff where they're like, you know, they're making a short little comic series and people can like vote on what happens, which is like kind of spoilers, but it's a cool way to sort of change the story.
But have you guys ever like seen a good one?
None come to mind. I don't think they're necessarily bad. They're just, I think it's more for the appeal of just like seeing the characters do things.
It's like, I was a part of this, even though it wasn't that great.
Just like a novelty thing.
I think the closest thing that might have gotten there, which is very weird to say that it's a stage play, but the musical 6 has like this very interesting tone to it that I haven't seen in a lot of other like anything. Where since 6 is like about Henry VIII's 6 wives and how they're not like, well, this is what 6 wants to be about. 6 wants to be about a bunch of Henry's wives who aren't just Henry's wives, but we don't know that because the history books never bothered to teach us.
Right.
And the entire idea behind 6, like the elevator pitch, is that Henry VIII's 6 wives have been stuck in purgatory for years, and now they're projected into a New York City theater, and they have to compare their trauma in a competition to see who will win. And it's like they don't specify what anybody gets for winning. I think it's like the audience's approval, which is wow, that's crazy. Why not freedom from purgatory?
Wow. Talk about projecting.
Yeah, exactly. It's very weird because like the show is very feminist, which I'm very happy about. It's like it like doesn't go as much as I want it to, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
6 kind of like meanders about a lot and just kind of like has these women slurring like really awful shit at each other. Like someone talks about being sexually assaulted, and I think one of them is like, "Yeah, but I bet you didn't get your head chopped off." And it's like, yes, she did. She also got her head chopped off after this.
Oh, got him.
And it's like, okay, and then right after that one is like when one of them is finally like, okay, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't just compare our trauma.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. The funniest part is that they're doing it in front of New York City in canon. And I'm very glad I got to see that show for that aspect alone, because that is such a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really do anything with it, which sucks. But I like the idea that like a story is projected into your phone, and it's like they work really hard to convince you that it is a real thing, which is way easier to do on stage where you can see the people actually doing things. But I would very much like to see somebody do a 6 style story where it's like, oh yeah, but the audience interaction is like the most important part.
I'm just imagining a guy trapped in a kid's show.
There is a
Like,
piece of
hey
media
there,
like
kids. Any of you got them newfangled phones? Can call someone to get me out of here.
Do you know the number for the emergency services in your country? Help me!
that. Get me out of here!
The forces that be demand that I teach you some geology right now, so
The forces
let's get
that
right
be-
into it. In igneous rock,
An igneous metamorphosis in sedimentary rock. The different properties. Jesus Christ, that's very funny.
all right, kids, I'll see you next time. Or maybe not. If I get out of here, please call some.
He like twists into a hell portal and all of his organs like slip through reality.
Oh my god.
You're up! And everybody goes, yay! That is a piece of media. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but I heard the epithet erase creator talk about it. There's this like piece of media where the idea is a guy gets sucked into a kid's show. He's like 40. I think he wants to kill himself. I don't remember. And then he like has to live in cartoon land, and he's just horribly cynical.
That sounds
I think
familiar.
Yeah, I don't really know what it is. And the idea is that he falls in love with a cartoon woman.
No.
It's very like, I am 50, 60 years old, and I wanted to write a story where women fix men.
Uh-huh.
I guess now that I think about it, I haven't really heard of any like trapped in media stories that work well. Because I mean, like,
Not
Six
even-
doesn't work well, but that's not because of that aspect.
Not even
Six doesn't
that
work
one
well
Spy
because they,
Kids
like-
movie?
Huh?
Not even that one Spy Kids movie. I don't remember which one it was because I never.
Oh,
watched
Spy
it.
Kids 3D, starring the guy for 2
The
seconds.
guy? Yeah.
I like Spy Kids 3D, but like that's a bad movie. I'm sorry. They don't do anything interesting with it. I love Spy Kids 3D, but fuck, bro. I guess like Danganronpa 2, maybe. I don't want to say that Danganronpa is a good game in any capacity. But Danganronpa 2 has like a plot where they're all trapped in a simulation. And like they do a cool twist. I don't think that it's like there's nothing wrong with the twist. It is very hard to critique Danganronpa when you haven't played it in a while. Because it's like all the pieces of Danganronpa are very cool. But I'm sure they're not as great in practice. Because like a lot of the bits are just like random characters spouting like Ibuki is a ray of sunshine that will heal the world, and it's like, cool, we're talking about my murdered friend here, can we get back on topic? And it's like characters do that all the time. It's like Danganronpa wants to be two things where it's like it can't be like a murder mystery video game about the human condition and why it's important to hope.
Mm-hmm.
And also be like a weird schlocky comedy with characters that make no sense at all.
Yeah, every time you describe it to us, it sounds like the most awful case of tonal whiplash ever.
I mean, I love it because I'm a fucking loser. And I grew up with it, so you know, that's my bias.
Naturally.
I also just really
Bias.
like all of the character designs. It's enough to like Danganronpa is the weird case of an eye orgy working on me. Because I don't think that any part of like Danganronpa when they just be Danganronpa is bad. It's like a Mori in that way, which I'm so sorry.
Hitting all the points today, aren't we?
Sorry.
It's
Danganronpa
okay.
is kind of like a Mori in the way that like when Omori is its own game, it is amazing and phenomenal.
Yeah.
When Danganronpa tries to be something it's absolutely not, it's yeah, you get the idea. I'm gonna stop talking.
Yes, but it has the one thing that saves a game no matter what.
What's
Junko
that?
Enoshima, she's in every one of them.
It's true.
What saves it?
Good music.
It sure does.
I have seen people sing the praises of the music here and there.
Danganronpa has great character design and great music, and that usually is never enough for me. But here we are.
Well, it's enough for the audience, man. The music helps it retain, like, knowledge in people's brains.
Get stuck in your head.
Because,
Yeah.
I want to listen to music. Ooh, I remember this game now. And the character design gets all the youngins attached to it when it comes out, so they cling on to it for, like, an extra year longer than the game's lifespan would be.
They call
well, Danganronpa, like, the entire series is one of the most best-selling visual novels of all time, I think.
Oh, you're right.
Whack.
So it's like...
Because people hung on to that... what was this guy? Nagito
Komaeda?
Yeah, that guy. People clung on to him for years, man. He was like...
They're still clinging on to him. What are you talking about? There's a character like that in every Danganronpa, too. There's like
only one Danganronpa 2.
I was gonna say, how many Danganronpas 2 are there?
It's like there's Tagami in the first one who causes problems on purpose because he likes the idea of like playing the game of the silly murder trials.
He's a gamer.
He would never say it, but yes. And Nagito's in the second one. He has a plot contrivance. I think that man is a walking plot contrivance and nothing else. And it only gets worse from there. Because then we have Max's resident Kokichi Oma.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that.
Yeah, he is... He's the kind of guy you would want to waterboard and bring back up on occasion just so you can do it again.
Oh, good. I'm really glad that I took the Akinator test and told that I was a fictional character, and that's the one that gave me.
Max, wasn't there... What did I do to you? I was like, yeah, I would gaslight you into thinking that I waterboarded you.
Yeah, you were...
What?
You laid out a very specific scenario in which I was waterboarded by you, like... Keeping in mind that we're in separate countries right now, but you somehow came to Canada, waterboarded me one night, and then continued to gaslight me and somehow make me believe that I was never actually waterboarded and it was a dream. Which is like...
Because I would dry you off!
It would be the most elaborate, like, thing to keep up.
Look, my grandma's an anesthesiologist. I just gotta, like, ask her very nicely and she might give me a vial.
Maybe a vile look.
You're so right. I just like the idea that I drove all the way up there, waterboarded you, and I was like, you fucking breathe a word of this to anybody and I'll fucking kill you. I'll come back and gut you like a goddamn pig. And then I just put you back to sleep with anesthetic. Go back home. Like an 8-hour drive or something. And then you would wake up the next morning and be like, what did you do? I was like, what are you talking about, bro? I'm sorry. There's just no way I could have gotten there.
It's so outlandish. It would probably work. 'Cause like,
it would probably work. I mean, I think it would, but it's crazy that you also think it would. I thought that you were gonna play like the fucking no way, I'm not that stupid.
I mean, I guess to be fair, I don't know what it's like being waterboarded. I feel like that would be a pretty, not only would I have to be awake for it, but I feel like if something like that happens to you, you don't easily forget it. But I don't know.
How do you convince somebody that they dreamed a traumatic experience they will probably have PTSD over?
Yeah, remember that time that I
Remember the time I came to your house and waterboarded you?
Yeah. Remember the time I gave you 40 lashes? That wasn't real. The scars aren't there anymore.
Yeah, like I put
That
concealer
time I
on your
bruised
back.
your entire body. The bruises aren't there anymore, so clearly it didn't happen. You have no evidence to convince me otherwise.
I change all your calendars, like your phone and shit, so you think it's the same day. I spent an entire day waterboarding you.
Oh my god.
My
No,
favorite
Max,
new
I
anime.
promise.
That time I abused my friend in every single way conceivable and then proceeded to gaslight them into believing it never actually happened.
That time I waterboarded my best friend and he was reincarnated as a slime.
God, I hate those
My new
titles
light
so
novel,
much.
everybody.
Those titles are so bad.
I think it would be very funny if we had an entire episode of Levi's Pointless Show where we came up with light novel titles.
Oh my gosh.
We should do that next time.
Actually, that reminds me. I had a question. Just like kind of
A question.
Kind of a conversation question.
Conversation question.
A conversation question.
Conversation question.
Conversation question. A question
A
specifically
conversation
designed to...
question.
Oh
A
my
conversation question?
God. I'm losing it. I was just gonna ask.
Hey, sorry. I have a question.
Yes. Is it a conversation question?
Is this a conversation?
You are a
That's
conversation.
a great question.
All right, Max, what's your question?
I wanted to ask you guys, what would you say is the most interesting thing you guys own? Like, do you have any weird knickknacks and things that like are really interesting to you?
Ooh, maybe.
Because I was thinking about that earlier today.
Maybe I do.
Growling like Batman.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Give me a second. You guys talk for a second. I'm gonna go rummage through my room real quick.
I was thinking about it earlier today. I've got I usually my go-to because I ask people a bunch of weird questions like this, but my go-to is usually my my synthesizer, my little pocket operator. It's just like a synthesizer that's like the size of a calculator, and it's very it's pretty powerful, and it's really fun to use. But also, I was reminded when I was doing the dishes today that in my house we have a bottle opener that looks like a skeleton key, which is very cool. Because I think it was just in the house when we moved in, but it's like made out of wrought iron and everything. So I didn't realize it was a bottle opener until like a year ago, and my mom's just had it in the kitchen. I thought she just wanted to keep the skeleton key around because it was cool. I'm like, oh, it's a bottle opener. Weird. What about you, Levi?
It's a hard thing to think about. I just have to like go digging for something obscure that I own. I do have this little like a Garfield book on my desk.
Oh really?
Love the
It's
Garfield book.
It's like a series of comic strips that like into one coherent story that was probably entertaining in 1978 or whenever this was made.
Donkey, okay?
Oh, that was right. 1978. It's about
1978. Yeah,
Uh,
those Garfield
John.
books are fun. I also
John
like
wants to go to Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
He can't, so he has to get the cheap tickets to Paradise World.
Paradise
I didn't
World.
realize this, but the things that I own kind of they're pretty telling of what I like to do and like consume.
Yeah.
I have like a Heathers and Hadestown script book.
Naturally.
Natch. I have like these two do you know Nate Wants to Battle?
I know of him.
I remember them.
Yeah, you know that guy, right? Nathan Shorp.
Yeah.
Does he sing?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I have
musician.
2 of his albums signed.
Ooh.
wow.
Because I really like his original music. It's very good. Some of it's kind of hit or miss. Some of it's a lot like he just wanted to make a random song that kind of didn't have anything to do with anything. And those are good sometimes too. But like most of the items that I own are like either telling of a thing that I did or a thing that I super like.
That makes sense.
Where it's like I have Heather's in Hades Town to like read through and understand playwriting better. I have the Nate Wants to Battle albums that I bought signed like 10 years ago, something like that. And I still have them. I have like the album to Set It Off that me and my friends went to go see. It was like my first concert.
Mm-hmm.
I have things like that. I have like a I have a hacked like DS and Game Boy.
Oh yeah, you've got a bunch of hacked stuff like that.
Yeah, I do have a fuck ton of stuff that I've just like jailbroken.
You like messing with gadgets and gizmos and whatnot.
I like messing with gadgets and gizmos in like the least offensive way possible. Where it's like, oh yes, I will take literally 24 hours. One time I spent like 24 hours, maybe it was like 12. Either way, it was like all of my day before I had to go into for a night shift.
Right.
Learning how to mod a PS Vita. Oh, you know what? This was such a dumb fucking... This was such a goddamn easy answer. I have 2 personally painted controllers.
Yo, yeah.
Ooh.
I have the Catherine controller that I painted, and I have the Splatoon controller that I painted.
I really like your Splatoon controller.
Dang.
How the fuck did I forget about these? I also have like an SNES in my closet that's Zelda themed that I painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are probably the most telling things of my personality. That's awesome, Levi.
What?
Dude, I don't know, you just laughed out of nowhere and I thought you were running a bit.
Ha 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 ha.
I agree.
Ha ha ha. Hee 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 ha.
That reminds me, I was gonna say, another very interesting thing that you own, Levi, is your NECA frames.
Oh yeah!
Those are very silly, where it's just the NECA work. And
I forgot about that because
well, you've got...
I'm not at that desk right now. Yeah, there's like very good fan art someone made of like the Mona Lisa, but like replaced with like NECA art. And so I printed that out and put in a picture frame and put on my desk.
It's fantastic.
It's one of my most prized possessions.
Did you already mention the fight stick that I like re-gifted you?
Oh, I didn't. I do have a fight stick. It's Chun-Li fight stick.
Whoa.
You said re-gifted? Did you get it as a gift?
No, I bought it for myself. So I guess that word doesn't like apply. I bought it for myself, but like I don't know if I'd say I hate video games. I sure do like video games when I don't have to put in a lot of work to like experience the story.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of all you need to hear about it. But I'm bad at fighting games.
From now and then.
Yeah. Also, I just don't like how it feels. So I gave it to Levi.
Ooh, it's very nice.
I drove all the way to Georgia with it, and it was the first thing I did whenever I got there. I like handed it to him. It was giant as fuck.
Like, whoa, cool, thanks.
Man, I want to fight.
And I learned how to use it. And I like it. I like it a lot. Thank you, Josiah. Cool friend. Cool friend award.
I really like this, like... Where's my fight stick?
Alright. I think we should move on to our little end segment here.
Alright.
That I've forgotten to ask us to name. We're just gonna... This is where we, ask how we're doing and what things we've been enjoying lately. But I don't have a name for it.
We'll figure something out.
Why not have names for things? No, I want us to come up with a name, like right now.
Right now,
the
okay.
pointless ending
yes,
segment.
That's... What?
The pointless end segment.
The pointless end segment?
Yeah, the pointless end card, something like that.
Look at
I don't know, it was a bad
media.
idea for you to try and get us to come up with it on the spot.
No, I think it's a great idea, honestly.
Is it?
Yes.
The segment where we let Max talk in honor of that first episode where he talked for 7 minutes.
Oh, come on.
Where they fucking rambled for 7 minutes and you slowly zoomed on their face and did not edit it down at all.
Look, I was going with the bits, okay? I was rolling with it.
I think it's very funny to have like a 7-minute end segment where Max does that.
Yeah. Allow me to just talk about nonsense for the last 10 minutes of the podcast. As a routine.
We talk about my trip to Toronto.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Max? How about
What?
you talk for a couple minutes about how your week was and what you've been enjoying?
I am... Alright.
Yeah,
Single.
baby!
Alright. This week, I've been, I've decided to torture myself with college. So,
Huzzah.
this week,
Verily.
I've been on a break, which is nice, even though it's not really a break because I still have a bunch of makeup classes, but that's not important. I was gonna mention, in terms of what I've been involving myself in recently, I've been on a pretty big music kick for Primus. I really like Primus. I've been going
Primus?
back through, yeah, the band Primus.
Is that a band?
It is. I went through their album Pork Soda a while ago, and I've sort of just been listening to them on and off for an entire month now. Well, I mean, more of them for an entire month now.
It's
And
like
if I had to
pineapple soda, but sung by a butcher.
and I was trying to think about it, cause I think that like Primus was pretty big in like the 90s, I think, or 80s or 90s, whatever.
It's an old band.
Oldish. The lead guy actually did the theme for South Park way back.
Ooh.
Oh.
Les Claypool is his name. Anyways, I was trying to think of how to describe their music, cause like I'm not really a fan of separating music into genres, cause I feel like it never really quite fits in the way that I expect it to. So if I was to describe Primus, I thought of it as the feeling that you'd get if you really wanted to eat garbage and you didn't have to worry about anybody looking at you. Like, listening to Primus is like eating garbage unashamedly.
It's basically just 100 gags.
In a different kind of way.
This is that it makes more sense.
It's not hyperpop.
Yo, this is eating garbage, but it's like garbage that isn't tinted with glitter.
It's like...
Dude, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get our podcast shut down, dude. You can't talk about 100 gigs like that.
Yeah, they're gonna fucking copy strike us.
Yes, man. We said 100 gigs. They own
Yeah,
that
make sure you
name.
don't show the fucking 3 minutes of footage of them walking through a supermarket as their music video. God forbid we steal that masterpiece. I do like
But yeah.
100 gex, by the way. I don't hate them, but like it's like, come on, they're fun to make fun of.
They are. But yeah, that's sort of what I've been listening to recently. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for now.
Oh, very interesting. Very neat. Very cool. Very adjective.
Very
Josiah.
adjective. Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Yes.
Well, I
How was
would
your
like
week been?
to. Is this just Josiah talks about media for a little bit?
This is what you've been up to.
And your
with
week.
What
yeah.
I've been doing.
Your
What
week
about
and what
my
you've been
week?
enjoying.
Well, I wanted to watch Haunting of Hill House again because if for anyone who doesn't know, Haunting of Hill House is a show on Netflix about like a really awful family full of awful people that are really easy to hate, that are all like mourning the death of their sister and their mom. And the show follows like the funeral proceedings and also flashes back to like them growing up in a haunted house.
Ooh.
And I don't want to talk about that now because I want to rewatch it first. I watched that like a long time ago, and it came up again in like just like a recommended segment, and I was like, I remembered how good it was.
Yeah.
Because whenever you finish Hill House, you're like, holy fuck, that was like a masterpiece. And I don't know how I forgot about almost all of it.
I remember it getting some buzz around when it first released. People seem to really like it.
Really, really like Haunting of Hill House, but I think I'll save that for next time, next end segment. I went back and listened to a lot of the music that I collected like a couple of years ago. Not a couple of years ago, probably like last year. And I listened to a lot of Will Stetson, who's he's a silly YouTube cover guy. Shocker, I'm sure. But I realized that he's kind of the only reason I even got into like listening to more like modern J-rock bands.
Ooh.
Which is pretty cool. I think if I didn't see his like cover of there's one called Gira Gira. I don't remember if there's like an English name for it. Probably not. But it's very good. YOASOBI does this weird thing where they have they really want to tell a story with their songs, which is kind of weird because also it's like the lyrics are a little too chock full.
Oh no.
But I eat that shit up, and since you can't really understand the lyrics anyway, who fucking cares? They were originally made in Japanese. If you don't like it, just listen to the Japanese version.
Yeah.
And God, it is crazy how many songs you can write about hating society. Because it's like, okay, how many times are you gonna write the same song that sounds different?
I was walking down the street and society tripped me.
It's society killed my sister.
Society hates society. And so on.
As annoying and like dumb jokery as I made YOASOBI sound, they're very fun to listen to. Even just like watching the music videos, because they have this weird style where they'll hop around. Like they usually do focus on one centric character, and they'll write like a real story around it, and then they'll go in and like write the lyrics and the music after, which is I imagine how you would write a musical. Which is probably why I like it. But every story is unique but has the same message, which is very weird.
Oh.
But if and like I don't think that it's like annoying either. A lot of it is like I am a baseball player that's trying to make it pro, and everybody is like really unhappy with me about it for some reason. And that one's called Ready Made. There's a lot going on. There's another one called Odo, where there's a girl that is like a futuristic boxer, and it's about like it's more about the pressures of social media than anything, I think. It's been a long time since I've listened to that one and like actually tried to read into it. Because it's very easy to just listen to the song like 10 million times and forget anything about it. Because you'll like run a song into the ground until you just don't even enjoy listening to it anymore and you have to wait a year or two.
Naturally.
Oh.
It's like YOASOBI, their most popular songs are the same one, just like rebranded. But like a bunch of their other music is like, oh yeah, we did something different this time and it's equally as cool. It's just it doesn't get as much traction for some reason. It might be because they're less character-centric, now that I think about it. But I've been going back and listening to those, and they make me very happy.
Wow. What about you, Levi?
So what about me? What about
you?
I did finish Don Quixote, the book, all 826 pages of it.
Nice.
It's got a pretty, like, strange ending to it. I don't know if you want to get spoiled for, like, one of the oldest novels ever from, like, the 1600s.
I think I can live with it, believe it or not.
But, like, one of the people from his hometown, they, like, dress up as a knight and they, like, challenge him. And they're like, I challenge you. And if I defeat you, you must go home for a year. To like, because they want him to like just go home and hopefully regain his sanity. And he ends up beating him. Like he ends up beating Don Quixote because Don Quixote has zero actual combat experience.
Wow, I wouldn't have
like,
imagined.
he gets out of like every combat situation either out of pure luck or by getting like a beat up and his pride just like destroyed. So then he just picks himself back up and he's like, adventure.
Adventure! You're saying that Don Quixote is Vegeta.
No, he's a guy who thinks he's Vegeta. He's a guy who read. He's a teenager who like reads manga all day, and then wakes up and is like, "I am now a Saiyan.
I am the proud prince of the Saiyan race."
That's a funny.
And like everybody else is like, "Cool, bro," but you'll still never be a knight. I like the idea that he's way more into the idea of Vegeta than actually being Vegeta. He goes up, and every time he tries to talk about how cool of a knight he is, he just gets almost killed. He's like, it's like when he goes up to Frieza and tries to talk about the Super Saiyan. And like nobody else has any clue what he's talking about because he refuses to explain it to them. So he's just like, that's it, Frieza! I have finally become the Super Saiyan! And then he gets fucking shot in the heart.
Oh, ouch. So, yeah, but that's not the weird party. Like, so he does end up going home because he's bound to his honor, and then he dies a couple days later.
Oh.
he like I guess like out of like sadness because he had been defeated, and he feels like he's never gonna see his like princess that he like came up with in his head. Ever again.
So basically,
and like so he gets like super sad and suddenly falls sick. And he suddenly falls sick and he's laying in bed. And then he ends up regaining his sanity. He's like, "Oh dang. I did all that stupid stuff. And now I'm about to die."
Oh man.
And he's like he starts like writing out his will. And he like gives all his stuff to like his niece that like lives in his house, and he like, and he wrote that that if her niece ended up marrying someone that read chivalry books, then all of her inherited property would become forfeit. And then he dies at the end.
The end.
I thought there was a second half of Don Quixote where they
That's
read
the
it
second half.
Yeah. That's
the end of the second half.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
last week that there's a
this
part
dude
where...
really did just write Dragon Ball fanfic. He was like, "Yeah, I killed a Frieza. I promise that's actually what happened. No, it wasn't Goku, it was me.
Don Quixote.
I'm the Super Saiyan. I'm the Super Saiyan. I am.
Oh my gosh.
And then he's like finally accepts it and dies for real.
Oh my gosh, I really need to read that book. That sounds so great, Levi. That sounds exactly like my kind of thing. He's just
It
a
sure
total
sounds
idiot.
funny. You really like media that disappoints you, don't you?
I do. I love when things are stupid and like end up badly.
You like bad endings only because it makes everybody around you sad.
It's not entirely true.
Well, it's like Thor goes to kill Thanos. He misses and the entire world blows up. And then you'd be like, that's a great ending.
Okay, maybe I see your point.
I think that would be a great ending.
I mean, it sure would be. It would be funny. But it's like, dude, you like endings that would get people rioting in the streets and you would laugh.
It's true.
You're the kind of person who'd go out and like eat popcorn in the middle of the crowd.
Yeah, I like when things happen like that. I don't know. It's compelling.
I like it. I'm glad that you are that person.
I'm glad that we have so many heated arguments about it.
Do we? Often?
Sometimes about stuff like that.
Ugh.
And it's
One time I want
funny.
to... I found out what me and CJ were arguing about, by the way.
What?
Oh?
Me and CJ, he was like... Yeah, I remember there was this thing that we super disagreed on. And it was the only thing that we actually disagreed on ever. And we couldn't put our finger on it for like a day or two. And I finally remembered it today while I was driving. It was because I said Junji Ito is an awful writer.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like, no, he isn't, you fucking asshole freak! Junji Ito is God, he is, I swear I saw him!
That is...
And then we screamed about it for a little bit until we realized that we were harshing the vibe.
Yeah, that sounds like quite the can of worms to open, for sure.
Yeah. I can't wait to remind him and tell him, and he's gonna be so glad. He's like, oh yeah, I remember why you're stupid now.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to happen all over again.
Well, that's the thing, because we didn't even get to debate about it. We just stopped because we didn't want to make anybody angry.
Yeah, it was probably for the best.
Good stuff. But yeah, it was a good book. I think I'm gonna read 1984 next.
Ooh.
Like, I know you're not reading it for meme reasons, but it is silly that you are reading 1984.
Every time you
it is
hear
very
1984,
silly.
it's literally 1984.
We're never gonna be able to
Yeah,
make
I can make more connections if I read the book.
It's true.
That's the thing.
It'll be
Anytime
funnier.
that we say this is literally 1984 after, you'll come in and you'll be like, actually, and then you'll drop a paragraph about why it's not. And that's, like, objectively funnier than 1984 jokes.
Actually, Ghostbusters came out in 1984, so it really wasn't all that bad.
So, like, could we really be living in a fascist technocracy if Ghostbusters came out?
True.
Bill Murray was at his height in 1984. I don't think it's the dystopia.
Yeah, they
you
really
think it
should have
is.
just sent him to the fucking stockades afterwards.
Jeez.
I mean, has he done anything of note since? I mean, Ghostbusters 3. Ooh.
He was in Garfield.
You say that like it's a fucking God's work. He was in Garfield. Yeah, he was, and it wasn't great.
I think that's a good note to wrap this show up on.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Max, could you do me a favor and draw me a quick commission of sending Bill Murray to the stockades after he's done, like, in his Ghostbusters outfit?
No, he doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, we can put it in the end card and play some fucking sad, like, Nightcore Angel with a Shotgun music.
Anyway.
So true. Goodbye, everybody. You got any last things you want to say to our funny audience?
Nothing beyond thanks for watching. Anything else you wanna say to the people before we send off, Levi and or Josiah?
Stay quacking, guys. Goodbye.